The following is an AI-based parody, created for satire and entertainment purposes. All voices, conversations, and scenarios are artificially generated and do not represent the opinions, actions, or voices of any individuals represented. This content is not meant to confuse or misinform.
We're jumping right into things here. It's time for Tali's loyalty mission.
And time for Donald's last episode of the game until Mass Effect 3.
Tali's loyalty mission has got to be one of the best ones, if not the best one outright. It may as well be a main story mission.
And at last we can get a damn romance going in this trilogy after a certain someone bungled the whole thing last game.
Come on, I said I was sorry. Besides, it all worked out in the end. Everyone seems real happy we're romancing Tali.
I'm still mad we're not going to get Miranda's romance scene, but it is what it is.
We're not even going to get to see any skin with Tali.
You wouldn't have seen anything with Samara either, so it wouldn't make a difference. Besides, we're in this for the emotional connection, not the sex.
I'd prefer to see both, personally.
The saying is, let's bang okay, not let's talk okay.
I don't think it's a good idea to bring a
Damn it, Talizora! You bring a gate onto my ship? I should throw you out the airlock.
Oh yeah, I brought the bot with us. I guess that might be a problem.
The fact that this is even possible is equal parts hilarious but completely ridiculous.
It's a wonder they're wasting time talking instead of just blasting immediately.
The captain was referencing the events of the Mass Effect Ascension novel, where Cerberus invades a Quarian ship to retrieve Gillian Grayson.
Listen, I'm not friends with the bot, but you better be ready to use those guns if you aim them at me.
Or I take off this mask and breathe germs all over your nice, clean ship.
Biological warfare is a crazy threat.
But an effective one. One sneeze in this place is cooked for the Quarians.
We should definitely leave Legion on the
If Legion
Normandy.
gets out of line, I'll take him out myself.
Jesus, Donald.
I've made my stance on these things abundantly clear from day one.
You know, as much as I like Legion, I do have to agree that bringing him onto the flotilla is crazy.
There are a lot of decisions in Mass Effect that break immersion, and usually you just have to suspend your disbelief, and that's fine most of the time.
You get one chance.
This is not one of those times. No way do we get Legion onto this ship without a serious fight.
He honestly shouldn't even be an option.
The Citadel DLC doesn't let us take Edie into the casino because she could have cheating software, but bringing a Geth onto the Quarian flotilla, that's nothing.
They definitely didn't care about the lore implications when they wrote this, because Legion's presence actually enriches the dialogue, as we'll see later on.
Technically, I'm under orders to place Talizora under arrest pending the hearing. So, Tali, you're confined to this ship until this trial is over.
Well, at least he isn't putting us in handcuffs.
Preparations got underway as soon as you arrived. The hearing's being held in the Garden Plaza. Good luck.
We're going to need it considering we just committed the crime. Tali is being accused of within 5 minutes of walking onto the ship.
Are you going to be okay on this mission, Donald? Your recent history with court cases hasn't been the best.
Oh please, this is as much a kangaroo court as my situation was.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
The captain let it get onto the ship. I'm lodging a complaint.
You know, we're wearing our armor and breathing masks here, but Legion wasn't cleaned on the way in, was he? Surely he'd have bacteria on him to some degree.
I imagine they started scrubbing the floor where Legion walked immediately.
Normandy, I am glad you came. I could delay them only so long.
Here's a little fun fact about Ron. If Tali doesn't survive to be on Earth at the end of Mass Effect 3, Ran will be at the forward operating base committing Quarian forces to the battle.
I can't say I've ever experienced that myself.
I should hope not, because that would mean you had Tali die on the suicide mission, which is punishable by death.
The Admiralty Board moved to have you tried under that name, given your departure from the Nima.
We'll be calling her Miss Voss Normandy soon enough, so she might as well change her name now.
They stripped me of my ship name. That's as good as declaring me exiled already.
See, told you this court case was a load of BS.
You think every court case is BS?
I feel like we're kind of glossing over the fact that there's a Geth on this ship right now.
Legion has already been allowed.
Yeah, but this should still be a bigger deal.
Doesn't Admiral Geralt have history with Tali's father?
Good point. Geralt should probably recuse himself, too.
No, he shouldn't. We need that guy on our side here.
Now that I think about it, I doubt Ron actually needed to recuse herself. She's just too afraid to take a stand for something and left it up to the other admirals.
A good old wishy-washy politician. I see they've even infected the Quarian leadership.
Does Tali have a defense counselor? Someone who speaks for her side?
Indeed she does, Captain Shepard. She is part of your crew now.
Oh no, Donald, his Tali's defense were so cooked.
I've picked up a few tricks thanks to my time in court. I know all the ploys. I can get Tali through this.
You couldn't even get yourself through your own court cases without being convicted.
If the tricks you picked up came from watching Rudy Giuliani, then Joe is right. We're deep fried.
Look, as long as I don't start melting like he did that one time, I think I'll be fine.
Our legal rules are simple. There are no legal tricks or political loopholes for you to worry about.
I'm calling cap on that one.
Only a matter of time before someone tries to suddenly update the autopsy report or introduces a random new piece of evidence that changes the course of the trial.
Bro, this is not an ace attorney game. We're not going to summon the spirit of Rail to prove Tali's innocence.
Thank God, because Ace Attorney Jail is not to be messed with. The way those motherfuckers be crashing out on the stand makes me afraid to know what happens when Phoenix wins the case.
Okay, I think Donald is right. The people around here are entirely way too calm about Legion. They should at least be carrying guns or something if you bring them here.
I can agree with that. Legion being here is dubious, but I'd be more understanding of it if the Quarians in the area all appeared more cautious and hostile around us.
This conclave is brought to order. Blessed are the ancestors who kept us alive, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this season. Keela Salai.
Keela Salai.
The accused Tali Azora Vas Normandy has come with her capitan to defend herself against a charge of treason.
Security. A Geth is
It's about damn time someone said something, and it's the suit wetter of all the admirals.
Okay, maybe we should have told Legion to sit in a corner somewhere. This is not a good look for us.
This is about to be the fastest court case in Milky Way history. If Tali didn't bring active Geth onto the flotilla before, she definitely has now.
Bro, don't point that out to the judges.
Normandy, your crew member Tali Zora stands accused of treason. Will you speak for her?
Don't say anything stupid, Donald.
Please, what are they going to do? Hold me in contempt of court. Tali already told us they don't have the infrastructure for long-term incarceration.
When Tali helped me stop Saren and his Geth army, her actions spoke for themselves. Without her help, none of you would be alive to put her on trial today.
We wouldn't even have made it off the Citadel if Tali didn't deliver that recording of the matriarch concerned.
The whole trilogy hinged on AI voice cloning not existing in the 22nd century, it seems.
Migrant fleet. What say you?
Pay no mind to the bot standing next to us right there. We're totally innocent.
Serving on the Normandy.
To clarify, Shepard, Tali isn't accused of bringing back entire units, only parts that could spontaneously reactivate.
But I would never send active...
Oh God, she's nervous.
Tali, please don't wring your hands like that while testifying.
Then explain how Geth seized the lab ship where your father was working.
Gee, thanks for dropping that on her. Real nice of you.
I keep telling you this Geth-loving suit wetter is no good.
I agree with Chorus's message, but boy does he make it hard to like him when he attacks our companion like this.
That's why I side with Geralt, bro. Has our back in the court case.
Let's see you keep that energy with Geralt when he almost gets us killed next game because he's a bloodthirsty warmonger.
Chorus and Geralt have an interesting parallel. I like Chorus's message for peace. But the guy is such a sniveling annoyance he makes it hard to agree with him. Meanwhile, Geralt advocates for the restarting of the Geth War, but because he's on our side, it's easy to like him. This situation obviously changes in Mass Effect 3.
The safest course would be to simply destroy the ship. But if you are looking for an honorable death...
Oh, Jesus, just the way this guy talks pisses me off.
For my father, you Boshtet.
Did Tali just swear in the courtroom?
Boshtet is definitely something akin to calling someone a bastard, I'd imagine.
The things I'd like to call Chorus right now would get this video delisted, so I'll hold my tongue.
With your permission, Admirals, yes. The good of the fleet must come first.
That was surprisingly diplomatic of you, Donald.
I told you I learned some tricks. Got to play to the crowd for Tali's sake.
Worthy mission, Tali, we will see that your name is cleared of these charges.
I don't see how clearing Tali's name of the charges against her matters if she's f***ing dead, but thanks, I guess.
Innocent only in death is a crazy policy.
It's like a consolation prize, except the only thing you're consoling is a corpse.
That's assuming they even try to recover our bodies to begin with. They would probably blow the ship up if we failed.
Or upon determination that you have been killed in action.
Well, it's a good thing I'm the one playing. No one is dying on my watch.
Thank you for agreeing to take back the Al-Rai, Shepard.
Take back the Al-Rai. I'm just in this to kill some bots.
My father is already dead, but I don't know.
Well, this is a new twist. Instead of solving Tali's daddy issues, we're going to help her mourn him instead.
There's something about dating a girl with daddy problems that makes me think it's a red flag.
Well, red is my favorite color.
We don't have a whole lot of options without parental problems.
Well, Ashley had a good relationship with her mom and dad, but you f***ing killed her, so that's gone.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
You know, Caden and his family were pretty normal, too.
Very no.
Eleko was supposed to be left on Vermeer. Ain't no way we're romancing him.
Geez, relax. It was a joke.
We can talk with the admirals. It might help us to see what their viewpoints are.
Shepard?
Hey, it's the kid from the first mission.
His name is Veter.
As mentioned before, Veter will be totally broken if you sent him to Cerberus at the end of Freedom's Progress.
It's got to be one of the worst renegade decisions in the game.
I agree, only because you literally get nothing out of it. In fact, you come out worse. You'll lose the option to rally the crowd at the end of the trial.
Veter's condition isn't all too good here in that scenario either. According to his caretaker, He was brought back suffering from malnutrition, dehydration, exhaustion, and after effects of several drugs. The poor kid needs meds, probably to help his trauma, and all he can do from then on is yell at Shepard to stay away.
You can't even attempt to spin that decision into something beneficial.
Nope, and that's how I know no one who plays these games is seriously 100% renegade all the time. Everyone makes allowances somewhere.
Hey, I've seen that scene. Veter's doctor claims that he wasn't actually physically tortured. He was just given brute force medicine to stabilize him and keep him lucid.
Yeah, that's a massive load of bullshit.
Why the hell is a Quarian doctor running defense for Cerberus? Besides, the kid was clearly deprived of food and water.
He was probably already like that. Remember, he was hiding in his room after the attack on Freedom's Progress. And Cerberus probably didn't have any food or water for Dextrose.
All right, well, at the end of the day, sending him to Cerberus to get interrogated still didn't do him any favors.
Maybe not, but you can't put all of it on Cerberus.
Donald, you know this is the last episode you're going to be able to defend Cerberus, right?
Then I might as well get it all out here.
Shepard.
Regar, my man, I see you got the color coordination down.
This is the last time we're going to get to see Regar.
What a waste of a perfectly good side character. BioWare killing him off through the email terminal has got to be one of their biggest L's.
I don't have a problem with Regar dying. I just wish we could have seen it happen on a mission like with Admiral Chorus.
If I remember correctly, the email doesn't appear until after Rannoch, so Regar definitely could make an appearance. Would have been nice to hear his take on us achieving peace with the Geth.
He'd disagree with it just as much as I do.
I don't know about that. Regar is no friend of the Geth, but he's a practical guy. He'd see the worth in having the Geth fight alongside us in the Reaper War. He's more or less fine with Legion being on Tali's recruitment mission.
Fought on Haystrom. She and Admiral Gerol are hoping you'll kill a bunch of Geth to get the crowd on your side. Then find evidence to clear your name.
You know, I didn't realize Admiral Zen was on our side.
She only supports Tali because she wants to know what Research Rail was up to, not because the two of them get along. In fact, I think Tali hates Zen more than Chorus.
Well, not anymore, it doesn't.
Rest in peace, Dark Energy plot line.
It could come back in Mass Effect Epsilon, but we're probably a good 5 years away from that, at minimum, so I wouldn't put too much thought into it.
Bro, we're going to be in the 22nd century by the time the next Mass Effect game is out.
Good, I hope they take their time with it. I don't want to see that shit until 2030 at the earliest, if I'm being honest.
Keela, I hope not. They can screw up a star. Our chances in war are even worse than I thought.
There's absolutely no way the bots are star level.
It would take massive time and resources to affect a star like this deliberately. It's too inefficient to be a weapon, and even the Geth wouldn't destroy a useful star system.
Yeah, but we would.
You're damn right we would.
There wasn't anything useful in the Bahak system anyway, just some rocks. Nothing of value was lost.
What does that dark energy buildup mean? Is it something we should worry about?
Sorry, Shepard, I don't know what it means. Just that it has the scientists worried.
Scientists are always worried about everything, like, oh no, it's been getting progressively warmer every summer for the last few decades. Big deal, turn on a fan or something.
Probably not something to worry about now. But resources in this galaxy are scarce enough without stars suddenly going dead.
Are resources really scarce in the Milky Way?
I'm not too sure what Tali means by resources in the galaxy being scarce. There are billions of planets and stars in the Milky Way, and we only know of a few hundred of them in the trilogy. I seriously doubt we're low on resources at the moment.
I don't have to face those admirals.
With your immune systems, it couldn't be easy for Quarians to fight a war. You'd lose more people to infection than injury.
Makes me wonder how many of the Quarians were killed by the Geth directly, and how many of them succumbed to some infection from their injuries.
Infection would explain why so many of them were killed in the war. I've always thought it was odd that the Geth killed billions of them, and that the Quarians kept fighting even though they were being slaughtered. Infection and disease would make the death count in a year's time more believable.
Whether it be from a bad cough or a bullet, the bots are still to blame for the Quarian situation.
The Quarians shot first.
Nope, I'm putting a moratorium on this. We're not debating this right now. It's time for cut content material.
I'd rather debate Donald on live television again.
Yeah, whatever. Unused journal entries imply that there were additional side objectives planned for Tali's mission. 4 of them had to do with the admirals. Each admiral would have had some kind of grievance with Rael Zora, and Shepard would need to find evidence to prove them wrong.
I love how cut content always ends up being something that would have enriched the mission. I still can't believe an entire hub world got cut from Therum in Mass Effect 1.
I've seen that some modders managed to recreate that.
Yeah, Mass Effect modders always do great work, but carrying on with the cut content. In Admiral Zen's case, she would believe the Geth could be hacked using cyber warfare attacks. Shepard would be able to find evidence disputing the reliability of Zen's plan.
Isn't it well established that Geth can't be hacked for more than a dozen or so seconds?
Yeah, and Zen ought to know that herself.
Well, you know Zen is all about controlling the bots. She'd hop at any opportunity to use them.
Networked intelligence requirements for taking over a ship. Expect between 10 and 50 units.
You know, I kind of feel like I've heard her voice somewhere before.
She's Morrigan from Dragon Age.
Now I know why everyone likes Zen, even though she's kind of annoying.
I'm surprised, Donald. I'd think you and Zen would be in alignment.
She's basically the same thing as the suit wetter. She's a robot lover. The only difference is that she's smart enough to at least want to enslave them again.
Slavery is fine when it's the Geth, I see.
Well, I prefer to eradicate them personally. But enslaving the Geth is no different than making your computer or smartphone do everything for you.
Except if I aim a gun at my phone, it's not going to surrender or start fighting for its life.
Not yet, maybe. It's only a matter of time.
Donald, I hope you keep this energy when Edie gets her body next game.
What I'll do when Edie gets a body is between me and God.
The power balance will be disrupted. Han loses a vote for his foolish and self-destructive war.
Ironic that Zen says this when she's one of the votes in favor of the war next time around.
Feels like they tried to present Zen and Geralt as if they opposed each other ideologically, but honestly they want the same thing, which was to defeat the Geth. They just have different methods about the whole thing.
Rael should have felt no more guilt experimenting on Geth than I did while performing surgery on a childhood toy.
Isn't that like a massive red flag?
Surgery on your childhood toys explains a great deal, Admiral.
Looks like Tali agrees with you, Joe.
Faster than I can. With the right programming, it can choose locations, even defend itself when attacked. But it is just a machine. It was built for the sole purpose of serving its master, and it can be dismantled whenever its
See, Zen is spitting. The bots are just like any other piece of tech you own. All of you probably threw your PS4 or Nintendo Wii in a closet as soon as something new came out.
I'll have you know I still use my Wii U every day.
Of course you'd be the one to buy the Wii U.
Like I already told you. Your video game console doesn't have self-preservation.
Talizora is only peripherally related. No offense intended.
So basically, they called us here for this trial just to waste our time.
Goes to show that you can meet an entirely different culture, and the politics will still be the same old rat race.
This is why I like Tuchanka. No bullshit.
You wouldn't last more than 10 minutes on Tuchanka before something ate you.
This is because Rael might have learned something valuable from the Geth.
Indeed, if he has, then even in this accident we may find something worthwhile.
The only thing to be learned from this is that any involvement with the Geth is a live wire.
I don't see what's wrong with repurposing the Geth for you so long as you can guarantee total control of them.
That's the point. You can't guarantee total control.
I don't see why we can't just live in peace with them. Actually, wait a second, I'm having a brain blast.
Is that what you're calling your episodes these days? Whatever makes you feel better?
Go on, Joe.
So Geralt wants to destroy the Geth, right? Zen wants to control them. And Chorus wants peace with them. Is this not just representative of all the endings?
You're just now realizing this.
Give me a break. It takes me a bit to put the pieces together.
It's a fairly famous interpretation of the conversations here. Yes, all of the admirals do seem to foreshadow or represent each of the endings. The only reason I don't really believe in this idea is that all of the endings weren't even in the base game.
Wait, is that right?
I don't blame you for not knowing this as you didn't play the original trilogy. But the synthesis ending was added into the game as a part of the extended cut DLC.
Some people also like to say that Shalaron represents the refusal ending as she refuses to take part in Tali's trial and just goes with the flow. Obviously, that's bullshit, as the refusal ending is nothing more than a f*** you to all the people who bitched about the original ending.
Well, I'm just going to believe in it, so I can pretend this trilogy was planned out the entire time.
On the topic of Shalaron, let me continue on with the cut content. Ron has probably the biggest change from the cut content. Instead of recusing herself from the trial, she would have been in support of exiling Rael Zora, accusing him of endangering the fleet by relaxing security protocols.
Well, that would be a bit awkward considering Tali calls Ron her aunt.
I guess being there the day Tali was born doesn't count for much.
Perhaps Ron just doesn't like Rael.
Our goal in solving this problem would have been to find some evidence that proves security remained perfectly right during Rael's experiments. It should be noted that these cut objectives would all be in the name of tipping the trial in Tali's favor.
Doesn't that imply Rand would have exiled Tali if you didn't complete this objective?
Well, you got to give the Quarians credit for not being biased.
I'm guessing they had Rand recuse herself because it'd be hard to believe she's so close to the family while being openly against Tali's father. Though ironically, as the admiral of the patrol fleet, Ron would be the most responsible for issues involving interfleet affairs and crimes.
The Marines who survived and escaped saw bodies in the halls. We must assume the worst.
No. We don't.
The Nile's not just a river in Egypt.
Since before Rael was an admiral, 25 or 30 years, I'd guess.
She doesn't seem all too broken up at the possibility that Rail is dead for someone who's known him for decades.
So we could be in the same open-air room. I was sick for a week, but it was worth it. I was the one who took Tali from her mother and put her in the bubble.
It's funny to imagine Quarians being the sickly kid who goes to school in a bubble.
I wonder how this works for Quarians who have children outside the migrant fleet. Tali did say an exile's child are welcome in the fleet, but what do they do without a bubble?
I feel like the answer to that question is dark, even for me.
The optimist in me wants to believe the Citadel races would be kind enough to offer a Quarian mother a safe place to have her kid. However, seeing the way Quarians are treated outside the migrant fleet, things probably go poorly most of the time.
But surely the migrant fleet would take a pregnant woman back in, if only to make sure her kids live and grow up in the fleet.
Maybe the Quarians do invite Tali back in to help with things if you happen to get her exiled. So dire situations might call for a suspension of the punishment.
Committed to the Quarian cause. That didn't leave him a lot of time for his family.
So he's another distant father, got it.
We should get Jacob, Tali, and Miranda in a room together so they can all vent out their father issues.
You might as well throw Colliet in there too. I know he's not a member of the squad, but he's at least adjacent, being Thane's son and all.
What about Garrus?
Ro gets along with his father perfectly fine.
For all their disagreements, Garrus is at least on speaking terms with his old man. Calling him when he thought he would die on Omega, and being in communication with him during the Reaper War.
And experiments. Something that proves you were careful.
I just realized the burden of proof is falling on us, and not the Admirals prosecuting Tali.
I guess innocent until proven guilty isn't a concept here.
The proof against Tali is dubious. All they have is that she sent parts to Rail. Ron admits herself that they haven't investigated the ship. So no one has proof she actually sent enough parts that could reactivate. These are things a lawyer would likely point out given the opportunity. Just goes to show that this trial is not about Tali, but about the Geth and taking back Rannoch.
I know the migrant fleet is formidable, but even you can't take on the Geth.
I hate to admit it, but this is probably true. I don't know what a bunch of 300-year-old ships hanging on by a thread are supposed to do to ships that the Geth have been upgrading and optimizing since they won the war.
I'm telling you which way the wind is blowing.
Damn, don't ask Ron for her opinion on anything.
It's hard to say what Admiral Ron wants. Zen suggests she favors peace because she's too scared to stick her neck out. But in Mass Effect 3, she'll favor war.
They want the homeworld back, and they want all Geth destroyed.
Shala, don't you want to see us retake the homeworld?
I don't think we can, Tali. But it may not be about what I think.
Well, yeah, because you don't ever tell anyone what you think, God damn it.
Tali.
Continuing with the cut content here, it should come to no surprise that Admiral Garrel's cut objective involved planning the war with the Geth. Garrel would believe that the Geth had been severely weakened by the Battle of the Citadel from Mass Effect. Shepard's objective would be to find proof of the contrary and present it to Garrel.
Leave it to Garrel to stupidly try going in to battle the Geth too early.
The man is just trying to get the homeworld back.
The man just wants to blow up Geth, no matter the cost.
Away at Admiral Corris, though. Tali's in good hands.
I get the sense you're inclined to believe the defense. I'm glad one of the judges is.
Garrel is lucky he's written to be on Tali's side here, because that's the only likable thing about this character.
No problem. We need to test weapons against Geth material.
Testing weapons on Geth material didn't go so well for you guys the last time you did it.
Good Lord, Joe.
You said and done some of the most vile things in the trilogy thus far. You have no room to talk.
Make mistakes like the ones they're saying you made.
Well, Tali is smart enough to not make these mistakes. Her father, not so much.
We sent some of our best Marines into that hellhole.
Jesus Christ, why are the Quarians so ass at fighting? Tali's team on Freedom's Progress got clapped by one heavy mech. Her entire squad besides Rhaegar died on Haestrom. And now the Quarians said supposedly their best Marines in and only a few of them came out.
The Quarians have the biggest fleet in the Milky Way, not the best.
That had to be a suicide mission for them. Rhaegar literally told us they ideally fight from orbit. What the hell were they thinking, trying to fight in close quarters on a ship?
I guess this is why Harbinger writes off the Quarians as unviable for harvesting.
I'm dead. The Reapers couldn't even be bothered to improve the Quarians' immune systems to use
She's
them.
on the fence. She takes fleet safety very seriously.
No way is Zen on the fence. She's pretty clear about what she wants.
Well, Admiral Garrel would consider anyone who doesn't perfectly align with either him or Chorus to be on the fence. He doesn't even mention Shalaran's position, which is pretty funny, as she doesn't have one.
Suit wetter is kind of a weird insult, isn't it? Don't the Quarians relieve themselves from inside the suits?
I do wonder what one has to do to be considered a suit wetter.
Well, the waste fluid has to go somewhere, so maybe Chorus forgot to drain his suit and it overflowed. causing him to technically piss himself.
That's a funny image.
Does that mean most of the Quarians are walking around with piss and shit in their suits?
Probably. I mean, they're basically the same thing as astronauts.
We served together on the gunship Yaska during a bad Batarian raid.
Okay, time to play a Mass Effect drinking game. Take a shot every time the Batarians do something.
You're going to kill a bunch of people's livers.
They definitely wanted us to hate them. Almost every time the games need a boogeyman to use for some past traumatic event, they just throw the Batarians. They could easily say Krogan, Turian, or even Asari pirates. But nope, the Batarians did it.
Well, at least this makes for some pretty good dad lore.
We're underage. They can't charge us for breaking formation.
I guess the time to f*** around is when you're still too young for your pilgrimage.
And we brought that freighter back. The crew called us heroes. The brass called us idiots.
Well, you killed Batarians, so I'd say you were plenty ready for your little journeys.
Is killing Batarians a rite of passage for you?
There is no greater test to transition yourself into adulthood.
It sounds like we're dealing with more politics than just Tali bringing back equipment.
You noticed that, did you?
Well, the other two admirals we've talked to pretty much admitted as such. At this point, we're just covering all our bases.
Looking for something to give us an edge when we attack the Geth in full-scale war.
Or maybe I could tolerate the Quarians going back to war, but could these have better timing about it? There's a Reaper invasion on the horizon.
If they went back to war right now, they'd probably stand a better chance. Part of their struggles in Mass Effect 3 came from the Geth linking up with the Reapers.
The damn bots can never be trusted. It's always back to the Reapers with them.
We're too comfortable now, Shepard. We've got the largest fleet in the galaxy and we just ride around doing nothing.
Well, yeah, your fleet is made up of a bunch of school buses with guns strapped to them.
School buses with guns strapped to them, you say? I think I know how to solve the school shooter problem.
Your homeworld aren't the same ones who work with Saren. They have different factions.
Good. Maybe some of them will kill each other.
I like the way this guy thinks.
Well, we're about to put Legion to work against his kind for the next 2 missions.
The toaster oven has to be good for something.
Thanks for the information.
Hang in there, kid.
Thank you, Admiral.
Now it's time for the whiny, sniveling suit wetter to yap about how he loves the bots.
For the last Admiral cut objective, we have Chorus's. Naturally, he's concerned for the well-being of the Geth.
Bro's ancestors have to be turning in their graves.
Chorus would believe that Rael had been torturing the Geth during his experiments, and Shepard would need to find evidence proving otherwise.
That doesn't even make sense. The Geth don't feel pain.
Yeah, but you can hurt their feelings.
I'm not sure they have those either, at least not until the end of Priority Rannoch.
Well, I'm about to instill the feeling of fear on those bots when I get on that ship.
I did not bring active Geth to the Alarai, Admiral. I know how dangerous that would be. I only brought pieces.
The captured ship with its crew slaughtered by living beings in pain belies your argument.
Yeah, I can see how people hated Chorus when this game first came out.
Oh, here we go.
You just had to ask about his ship, didn't you, Don?
No need to treat him with respect if he won't show us the same.
You've been calling Chorus a suit wetter on repeat.
Chorus is probably so heated at Tali because she got a foreign ship name that's a lot cooler.
You know, Bro had to be crying under that mask when he realized the Normandy was the ship that saved the galaxy.
Grace and honor.
If it bothers you, maybe you should find another ship.
I've occasionally entertained the idea of requesting a transfer. Something with a nice, respectable name, like the Defrons or the Ictomy.
Those names wouldn't be doing you any favors, Chorus.
What do you mean?
So Chorus might not realize this because it's a different language. But try putting the words Voss and Ictomy together.
Oh God, it's vasectomy.
That's not even the funniest one.
If you put Vaz and Defrans together, you'll get Vaz deferens.
I actually don't know what that is.
It's your sperm duct to keep things brief.
I'm not surprised you didn't know that, Joe. You probably have a few puffs of smoke in there.
So basically, this was all one elaborate penis joke from the Mass Effect team.
To be fair, it wasn't really that elaborate. It's basically ha ha ha, penis funny.
You know whoever wrote Tali's loyalty mission had to be kicking their feet at their desk when they came up with this.
Brought into your proceedings. The other admirals are pushing for war. Rael Zora was researching new weapons to use against the Geth.
Due to saying that like it's a bad thing.
That's because it is.
It's complicated. I do understand where Admiral Chorus is coming from here. Unlike Gerrel and Ron, his fleet is built up of non-combatants, as it's the civilian fleet. The heavy fleet is the main military force, while the patrol fleet handles security and is a backup military force. Zen's fleet is special projects, which is probably mostly focused on developing weapons to use on the Geth. So it makes sense all of them want this war. But we know the civilians' fleet don't want this fight. So as much of an annoyance as Chorus is during the trial, you can't begrudge him for representing the will of his people.
I will, if representing the will of his people means getting cozy with the bots.
Barry, I think you're going to have to find the Geth equivalent of a politician and assassinate them in order to make Donald change his mind.
The closest thing to a Geth political representative is probably Legion.
Barack, I'll drop 10 bands right now if you kill it on the suicide mission.
A whole rack just to kill a character you don't like from a video game is genuinely crazy and proof how bad you are with money.
I am not going to deliberately kill Legion.
If Legion dies, we won't get the best ending on Rannoch.
You mean the one where the Quarians exterminate the Geth?
You know what? That's on me. I walked right into that one.
We'll just have to see how things play out for Donald here.
Don't get your hopes up.
Goodbye, Talizora. Be well.
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
I don't hate you, Tali.
Well, you could have fooled me.
Your father's plans for war were wrong.
It's finally time to put the BS politics behind us and blow up some Geth.
Bro has been itching to shoot at something for almost 30 minutes now.
Seriously, giving me the most dialogue-heavy loyalty mission was sick work.
It wouldn't kill you to sit back and actually listen to the characters talk, you know.
That's what you're here for. You're the lore master. Speaking of which, you've got more cut content to share, don't you?
Oh, thank you, Donald. I didn't think you'd want to hear.
Well, I don't. But you're going to share it anyway, so it may as well be on my terms.
Let's hear it already, Barry.
There are 2 other cut objectives that would have taken place on the ship.
Hold on, Barry. Talia is busy dying.
Oh, good God, she's so squishy without energy drain.
If she's done overreacting. One of the objectives would have involved Shepard helping a surviving Quarian scientist reach a lockdown room. Either you get them to their destination, or they would die on the way there.
Looks like we have enough trouble keeping our Quarian squad mate alive without having to worry about a scientist.
Considering Tali is one of the best Quarian combatants we've seen, I guess it's not surprising everyone on this ship died.
The final cut objective involves repairing a computer. Specifically, we would repair a lab's quantum blue box module and deliver it to a Quarian called Jen Shias.
Tali's loyalty mission is already packed with enough content as is without these cut assignments.
I agree, though I do wish the objectives involving the 4 admirals had made the cut.
There's already enough dialogue with all of them. Hell, the combat here barely makes up 25% of the mission.
Turning off your firewall is all fun and games before you get cooked by a virus. Or in this case, killed by Geth.
It looks to me that the cut content where Ron accuses Rail of relaxing security might have had some truth to it.
Rail might not have known. Still doesn't change the fact that his crew was apparently full of morons.
The Quarians will get themselves killed trying to fight the Geth instead of, doing anything else.
There's not a whole lot they can do.
They could have looked for another planet to colonize instead of aimlessly wandering space for 300 years.
Well, the situation with the Quarians is a bit complicated. You better sit back. This is going to be a bit of a yap.
All right, Donald, pass me a Mountain Dew out of the cooler.
Didn't your doctor tell you not to drink these anymore?
Yeah, but there's been so much talking this episode, I'm starting to fall asleep.
So here's the deal with Quarian colonization efforts. They tried quite a few times and failed for a lot of reasons. One such example is the planet known as Ikuna. Ikuna was discovered by the Quarians in 2103, despite its freezing temperatures beyond the equator. The Quarians still petitioned the Council for the right to colonize the planet. Unfortunately, the Quarians had already landed a few 100,000 of their people before asking permission. The Council saw this as an illegal act and handed Ikuna over to the L Corps, giving the Quarians 1 galactic standard month to kick rocks or be bombarded.
You see, Ashley was completely right about the Council. I knew I was right to let him die last game. Second best thing I've done in the trilogy so far.
What's the first?
I refer you to Episode 9 of Mass Effect 2.
Okay, now hold on a moment there, Barry. I'm looking at the map here, and Ikuna is a planet within the Phoenix massing cluster, which is Terminus Space, not the Citadels. What business do they have stopping the Quarians from colonizing the planet?
See, you're reaching the crux of the issue. The Council unfairly kicked the Quarians from Ikuna, claiming that the planet would be better suited for the L Corps. Now, to be completely fair, that is true. Ikuna's surface gravity is nearly identical to the L Corps homeworld of Dakuna, so it's doubtful the Quarians could survive there long-term to begin with. This is still one of many colonization attempts that were thwarted. Another world the Quarians considered contesting was called Aight Foreal, located in the Terminus systems, is a planet with dextro amino acid-based life. Perfect for the Quarians, however, the planet had already been colonized by an independent faction of Turians.
Oh, don't tell me the Council stopped them again. I might start hating them as much as Donald.
Yes, come to the dark side.
No, this time the Quarians gave up themselves. There were quite a few problems with Aight Foreal. For one, it's cold as hell. 2, the planet's plant life had a very virulent growing season with plants that could infect the Quarians. Lastly, the colonists had ties to crime warlords that existed somewhere else in the Shrike Abyssal.
At least that one was bad luck.
It actually ended up being a good thing the Quarians didn't settle there. Aight Foreal's citizens were wiped out by the Reapers in Mass Effect 3.
Damn glad it wasn't me, though.
I hope Jonah gets plenty of time to spend with his father.
Did he forget?
Forget what?
Nothing, Joe. Just keep enjoying your Mountain Dew. Anyway, this is all to say that the Quarians definitely tried their hand at colonizing other planets, but things kept getting in their way. So at the end of Mass Effect Ascension, which takes place in 2183, it is revealed that the Quarians intend to send ships into unknown, uninhabited areas of the Milky Way to look for other worlds. You'll recall the ship known as the Adena. It was the first of these ships meant to go out and explore unknown regions of space. We get assigned a mission called Quarian Crash Site in Mass Effect 2, where Lieutenant Forzan of the Adena and her scout ship crash on a planet called Gi-Hamat. In her logs, it's revealed that they're having issues with the Geth, indicating that things aren't going well in this department either.
Yep, that's another reason to not like the bots right there.
So eventually, it makes sense that most Quarians decided to throw all their chips down on winning Rannoch back. One last note, there's a group of Quarians known as the Nadas Movement that advocate giving up on Rannoch and wanted to find another world. The major believers and leaders of this movement signed up to the Andromeda Initiative in hopes of finding a new world in another galaxy.
The situation was so bad they had people willingly going to be in Andromeda.
The Quarian Ark launched in 2186, just after the Batarian colony of Kamala was attacked by the Reapers. They narrowly dodged the Reaper War.
No fucking way there's a planet in Mass Effect called Kamala.
I put that on me. Read Mass Effect Revelation, it's a major location. Anyway, to cut a long story short, the Quarian Ark is currently lost. After the Ket are defeated during the events of Mass Effect Andromeda, a transmission from the Ark is picked up by Port Meridian. However, the signal was bounced around too many times, making it impossible to trace.
And that, my friends, is where the Quarian Ark will remain until the heat death of the universe. That DLC is not coming to Andromeda.
There's some buzz about the next Mass Effect game involving Andromeda and the Milky Way, so I wouldn't count the Quarian Ark out just yet.
Well, thanks for the story, Barry. That was a pretty long session. Do you want a drink?
Yeah, pass me a water.
You want a Dasani?
I'd sooner have you piss directly into my mouth before I take a single sip of Dasani.
That's absolutely the most insane thing I've ever heard you say, Barack.
Well, the only other thing we got in here is orange Gatorade.
Fine. Pass me a fucking Gatorade. You two be entertaining for a bit while I quench my thirst.
Donald, are you going for another zero-death episode?
You're damn right, as if I'm letting these bots ruin my streak. Also, it'll all fall to Barack to make sure he ends Mass Effect 2 on a high note.
Mass Effect 2 is ending on a high note regardless. I'm playing the damn suicide mission.
You saw what Saren and Sovereign did with the Geth. Any research that gives us an advantage is important.
You know, we could probably solve the Geth problem with a really big rock and a mass relay.
Donald, we are not going to blow up the Geth with a relay explosion.
Yeah, I know you care about the bots.
No, I mean, you'd end up destroying Rannoch and all of the Quarians' old colony worlds. They wouldn't be in a better situation at all.
Oh, right, damn, that was quick thinking from you, Joe. I'm surprised.
The Mountain Dew has my head feeling really clear for some reason.
I keep telling you, Barack is bugging recommending everyone drink water. Mountain Dew is where it's at.
Yeah, all right, bro, you're not Asmongold. If you keep drinking all that dew, you're going to end up pissing rocks.
That's the second time you've mentioned piss this episode. That's the limit.
Says specifically, but if they were, then Father was doing something terrible.
I mean, Rail doing something terrible is already pretty apparent based on all the bodies.
Build me a house on the homeworld. Was this going to bring us back home?
Oh, we're getting Rannoch back, Tally. That's where we're going to live in the future.
Your homeworld someday, Tally. If your father can't help you, I will.
Taking back our planet would only be the beginning. We'd have to cannibalize our fleet to rebuild cities and infrastructure. It would take generations of gene therapy to readapt our immune system so we could live without suits again.
Well, not if you work with the Geth or if we pick the synthesis ending.
I swear to God, Quarians linking up with the Geth is going to backfire horribly. Javik had a whole thing in his cycle about this.
You are not unilaterally deciding on an ending.
Relax, it was just a joke.
Not ever. At the very least, we can take back one ship. Come on.
Well, Tally, what are you doing, girl?
She's lost it.
I did not command her to do that.
Well, she died.
Tally, goddammit, this is your mission. You can't be dying like this. You're letting the toaster outperform you.
You're getting walked up on.
Well, that's not good.
Look who has to rely on Legion for help. Bet you're glad I didn't sell him to Cerberus.
He might as well make himself useful if he has to be here.
It is ironic that Legion is maybe the best squad mate when it comes to dealing with Geth.
Well, he is a more advanced and complex version of all the other ones.
The thing might be the strongest Geth unit to ever exist, and he got deactivated by one swing from a husk on the Dead Reaper.
Give him a break, that was a cutscene. Everyone becomes ridiculously weak in cutscenes.
Not my girl, Jack, though.
Yeah, because she goes the opposite way. knocking out multiple heavy mechs all at once and tearing through a ship, and then getting knocked out if someone breathes in her general direction.
I still don't know what came over Tali there.
I guess the grief from realizing her father is behind this disaster made her act recklessly, because she charged in there like she's Rex in Mass Effect 3.
She's a girl after my own heart. Tali might not be a Vanguard, but she's willing to commit to the Vanguard lifestyle.
Maybe she could at least wait until she's unlocked energy drain so she doesn't fall over immediately.
You'll learn that charging dick first into danger, damn the consequences, is what being a Vanguard is all about.
You know what, I know this whole thing has been about us getting Joe through the insanity difficulty. But I am dying to see how good you actually are, Donald.
Just wait, as soon as I get my hands on Charge Nova and a shotgun, it's curtains. I'll solo the Reapers all by myself.
Target contact.
Tali, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is you get to become Batman. The bad news is both your parents are dead now.
Donald, this is not the time.
You're right, that was a little tasteless of me.
No. You always had a plan. Masked life signs or an onboard medical stasis program, maybe. You wouldn't.
We joke about Rail being a bad father, but I think Tali's reaction to his death is evidence of the fact that she liked her dad quite a bit.
This is a mandatory Paragon reaction. Even I'm not cold enough to ignore it.
Parenthood is always a little complicated. Rail may have been absent a lot and perhaps distant, but he clearly cared for his family. When you recruit Tali after Haystrom, you'll get an email from Rail where he makes it clear that he wants Tali treated with respect, and that if any harm comes to her due to our negligence, the Admiralty Board will take severe and appropriate action.
Yeah, I might be scared of that if bro didn't get folded by some Geth.
The man is dead, Donald.
Yes, I'm an asshole, I know.
Tali, if you are listening, then I am dead. The Geth have gone active. I don't have much time. The main hub will be on the bridge. You'll need to destroy it to stop.
He might have died, but you have to give him some credit. He almost made it to the bridge to shut the Geth down.
That pretty much confirms that Rail was in alignment with Zen and Geralt.
It's likely the battle against the Geth would have started a few months sooner had Rail survived. As Geralt said, they almost had the votes.
Yes.
So at the very least, it would have been 3-2 in favor of attacking the Geth.
Let's finish this.
All right, now it's my turn to show you all how it's done.
In this small room, you're going to get vaporized like Barry.
Let me ask you, does a machine like yourself ever experience fear?
Weapons.
Never mind, you bots are going to have some trouble answering that.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Well, damn, Barry. Seems you're the worst at using the cane.
Okay, now let's get something straight. I did that for the content.
Copium, he did it for the content.
Well, you've got another chance to prove yourself next episode.
Father mentioned. Disabling it shut down any Geth we missed.
Where's the fun in that? We should go back and blow them up ourselves.
The recordings remained intact. They'll tell us how this happened. What Father did.
I'm sure Rail is perfectly innocent of any wrongdoing.
No. We have to. I know. This is terrible, Shepard. I don't want to know that he was part of this.
It can't be any worse than finding his body.
Do we have enough parts to bring more online?
Yes, the new shipment from your daughter will let us add 2 more Geth to the network.
We're nearing a breakthrough on systemic viral attacks. Perhaps we should inform the Admiralty Board, just to be safe.
No, we're too close.
I do wonder what would happen if the other admirals were told.
We know Zen would have been in support of these experiments, but I think even Geralt would have an issue with Rail working with live Geth and networking them.
At the end of the day, bro got himself, his entire team, and a bunch of Marines killed, so this is a bad look.
I don't want Tali exposed to any political blowback.
Too late for that, she's neck deep in it now.
Assemble new Geth with what we have. Bypass security protocols if need be.
Well, looks like he did relax security protocols after all.
Like he was doing this for you.
I never wanted this, Shepard. Keela, I never wanted this. Everything here is his fault. I tried to pretend it didn't point to him, but when this comes up in the trial, we can't tell them. Not the admirals.
And she's dead serious about this too.
It's rare in Mass Effect that your companions will actually have an issue with your decisions, but this is one of them. Exposing Rail Zora against Tali's wishes will result in you failing the loyalty mission and not earning her loyalty.
And you get locked out of her romance by extension. Oh, and I guess things don't go great on Rannoch either.
That's easily the worst outcome. The next best one is where you simply allow Tali to be exiled, you'll keep her loyalty, and you'll still be able to romance her. But your pathway to peace on Rannoch will be tight. You lose 2 of your 5 points towards peace, meaning you would need to destroy the heretics, resolve Tali's and Legion's argument. and rescue Admiral Chorus.
Wait, that means you can achieve peace without Legion or Tali being loyal?
How does that work? If you have the morality to clear Tali without exposing Rail, you'd have the morality to solve the argument.
You can clear Tali's loyalty mission without appropriate morality. You just need to have Rhaegar and Veter be alive and speak to both of them, so you can rally the crowd. Tali's loyalty mission has a lot of paths for you to take.
Well, let's take one of those paths right now.
He's already writing out obituaries.
Chorus has lost it. Lore-wise, Commander Shepard and their squad are easily the most accomplished individuals in the Milky Way when it comes to fighting Geth. Them writing us off as dead is a grave insult, one that I will not stand for.
They need to put some respect on Bard and Joe Shepard.
Very well. Is the Admiralty Board prepared to render judgment?
Objection.
We did what a bunch of your so-called best Marines couldn't do and cleared the Geth out.
Just another day of Commander Shepard and their small team of allies going in and doing what an entire platoon of soldiers can't.
Go get your ship.
We apologize, Shepard. Your success in taking back the Alarai is very unexpected.
Geralt, I'll go kill for kill with you right now. Let's see who's got a longer rap sheet.
Once again, it is crazy they sent us in there expecting us to die. Geralt and Rael were boys, and Geralt sent Tali out on what he perceived to be a suicide mission.
Shepard, please.
Don't worry, Tali, we want to hook up with you.
Does Shepard have any new evidence to submit to this hearing?
The gameplay statistics for Mass Effect Legendary Edition indicate that 96% of players get Tali pardoned. This was done in 2021, so I'd wager most of the people are those who played the original trilogy.
I wonder what it would have looked like back when 2 originally released.
Admiral. This is a sham.
That's right, I'm about to read you clowns to filth.
All the war effort. And you want all the messy experiments covered up so you can throw your fleet at the Geth.
Cat got your tongue, Geralt?
With your toy ships. But leave my crew out of your political bullshit.
Trust me, you don't want me involved in your politics. The last time that happened, the Citadel Council had to be replaced.
The woman who saved the Citadel from the Geth.
The ball's in your court, Admirals.
Are the Admirals prepared to render the judgment?
Damn, Zen was quick with it.
Well, she's practical, if nothing else. No sense in exiling Tali when we all know this trial is BS.
Chorus, on the other hand, he had to think about it.
Tali Zora, in light of your history of service, we do not find sufficient evidence to convict.
You really didn't have sufficient evidence to convict in the first place, if we're all being honest.
Commander Shepard, please accept these gifts in appreciation for you taking the time to represent one of our people.
You guys have fun blowing up bots in Mass Effect 3. I can't wait to help out.
How long are you going to stay committed to this bit?
Joe, you know as well as I do that he's dead serious about that.
We'll drink a toast on the homeworld, Shepard. Mark my words.
We'll toast at our beachfront property with Tali.
I'm not hanging out with the Mass Effect 3 version of Geralt Bro as an asshole.
I can't believe you pulled that off.
To be honest, I can't believe we pulled that off either.
If yelling about how the case was a total sham worked, then Donald wouldn't have any convictions.
Okay, f you, Sleepy Joe.
Thank you for being there for my father and me. Even when... Thank you.
Well, you can still go back in and get you exiled if you want.
Thanks. But I'm fine with things like this. It's fun watching you shout.
And just like that, we're in, boys.
You'll get to see us shout plenty, Tali.
Let's take the girl out to dinner first, fellas. No need to jump right in.
I got better, Shepard. I got you.
Damn, now I feel bad fighting over the other ladies when Tali was right here.
I hope she doesn't remember the whole one-night stand with Jack.
We should just be glad Tali wasn't around when we got with the consort.
It's kind of crazy we managed to get laid twice without romancing anyone at all.
I thought Veter had dialogue.
He does, it's just locked behind the rally the crowd option. It's nothing special. Shepard just teases him about being motivated to speak up by a pretty girl in need.
Glad they're off your back, ma'am. And that you didn't have to give them that evidence you found on the LRI.
I didn't say anything about finding evidence, Carl.
Noticed that, ma'am.
You're a smart guy, Rhaegar.
Any idea what your
They need to get you on the Admiralty board instead of Chorus.
I'm going to be escorting more techs around to look for signs of dark energy buildup. Maybe see if they can figure out what's causing it.
Well, that's going to be a wild goose chase.
I have to wonder if Rhaegar would have survived had the dark energy plot not been scrapped. Perhaps he would have been the one to reveal it after the scientists put things together.
Throw the fleet at the Geth. All they'll get back is scrap metal. The best bet would be for us to find another way.
What the hell, Rhaegar? You're going soft on me.
You're right, Donald. Rhaegar's smart and he should be on the Admiralty board, but he should replace Geralt instead.
Rhaegar is a soldier on the ground. And he's seen the horrors of fighting the Geth firsthand. Can't blame him for wanting to find another solution.
Need to take all of Rhaegar's suffering and pass it to Geralt.
Very impressive speech, Commander Shepard. But tell me truly, did you recover any of Rael Zora's research on the Alarai?
That's none of your business.
Well, after the mission, we'll get an email from Zen. She ends up finding what Rael was up to and says if we had shared the information with her, humanity would have benefited. She goes on to say that instead, humanity will have to watch as the Quarians reclaim Rannoch and the largest synthetic army in the galaxy. And this is apparently her idea of a cordial email.
She has the social skills I'd expect of someone who did experiments on her childhood toys like she's Sid from Toy Story.
I want the Quarians to win, but we're going to need to keep our eyes on Admiral Zen. She's talking like she wants to be a whole problem to the galaxy.
She's arguably worse than Geralt. At least he wants to do away with the Geth. Zen straight up said the Geth would be used as an army. No good can come of that at all.
I'm glad they were wrong. You didn't mention survivors. Did you find real Tally? I am sure he would have left you a message if he'd had time.
He didn't care about Tally is insane to say.
He left a message for Tally.
I can only imagine how horrible this is for you, child. But at least you got to hear your father tell you he loved you.
Well, he didn't exactly say all of that, but I guess he got the point across.
It is kind of sad that Rael used his final moments to tell Tally to get the data to Zen and Geralt instead of actually speaking to her.
He may have been a bit misguided, but Rael was just focused on the prize. Remember, everything he did was to get Tally back to Rannoch.
I think if we asked Tally, she'd rather have her father right now, but hey, you can't change the past.
Tally shouldn't have been involved in that argument.
You know, Rael had to be turning in his grave seeing Tally get caught up in the politics anyway.
You spoke well, but I know a feint when I see it.
You do have the option to expose what Rael did to Geralt, and he's not all too happy about it.
Admiral, including my father's, that's all. Whatever research they were doing was destroyed.
I'll take your word for it, Tally. Not that I have much choice.
It's better for everyone if this just stays on the down low.
Your father would be proud of you.
Well, goodbye Mass Effect 2 Han Geralt. You were a decent character. Unfortunately, you're going to be Flanderized in Mass Effect 3 to make the Geth look more sympathetic.
Let's wrap things up with the suit wetter.
And thank you for helping Rael Zora's daughter. You stood for her when we failed.
At least Chorus is owning up to the BS that surrounded this whole trial.
Overshadowed Tali's trial.
You're going to have to fight the bot's
Geth
loser.
aren't going away, Admiral. The best hope for your people is to retake your homeworld.
I would argue that the best hope for our people is not to be destroyed in a senseless war. But I fear I am in the minority.
Don't listen to him, Chorus. History will prove your side right in the end.
And good luck.
All right, at long last, we can start this romance dialogue with Tally.
We aren't too late, are we? We barely have any missions left.
We're fine. We just talked to Tally here, and again after Legion's loyalty mission. Then I just need to lock the romance in after the crew is
I
abducted.
imagine they're trying to fill your father's spot on the Admiralty board.
Who they replaced Rael with doesn't even matter since they somehow managed to get Ron to stick her neck out and support restarting the war.
Have made it easier. A few people are suggesting me as a candidate.
Damn, talk about a power couple. Tally, Aquarian Admiral, and Shepard, the most decorated Alliance Marine and first human Spectre.
Are Quarian politics always like that?
No. Sometimes it can actually get unpleasant.
Are you telling me that wasn't as bad as things get?
Quarian politics don't come close to things here in the States. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving no matter what happens in November.
In each other's business.
The whole trial was insulting. You should have had time to mourn your father.
I don't think life is about what you deserve. But my father would be honored that I chose to mourn him by blowing up a lot of Geth.
Holy shit, she's perfect. Now I see why everyone says Tally is best girl.
You finally see past the hips, and it's because she likes killing Geth.
Do you think we'll make it through this?
Of course we will, Gabby.
I mean, as long as we take down the collectors, it's all worth it. Even if we don't make it.
Don't even think that. We'll make it through.
That conversation is pretty sad if you happen to delay the suicide mission after the crew is abducted. Gabby is ahead of Kenneth on the death list. So if you rescue him, he'll be totally devastated by her death. In Mass Effect 3, Ken will be far more reserved and won't engage in ship banter. However, before the final battle on Earth, he'll ask Shepard to make the Reapers feel it.
It's all fun and games until someone kills your girl, then you crash out.
I can't imagine going into Mass Effect 3 without our favorite engineer duo.
Did you find anything useful?
We were sent to the old machine to preserve the Geth.
Jesus Christ Legion, can't you dim that light?
The heretics have developed a weapon to use against Geth. You would call it a virus.
Well, just install some antivirus software or something.
Over time, the virus will change us, make us conclude that worshipping the old machines is correct.
The fact that this is even possible is reason enough to never trust Geth.
Donald, this isn't any different from indoctrination.
And need I remind you of what I talked Saren into doing once he was convinced he'd been indoctrinated?
Well, he got you there, Joe.
Okay, well, Legion's Geth aren't indoctrinated, so they're fine.
We'll see how long that lasts.
So, the virus would give all Geth the heretic's logic, and all Geth would then go to war with organics.
Good, more bots for me to turn into scrap
Yes,
metal.
Geth believe all intelligent life should self-determinate. The heretics no longer share this belief.
I'm guessing Legion wouldn't approve of what we did about the Rachni.
Who's we? I didn't make that decision.
If it got a problem with me not letting the bug self-determinate, we can fight about it. I'm pretty sure I can take the bot if a swipe from a husk put its lights out.
You're actually insane if you think you can fight Legion.
I'll just throw a bucket of water at it.
Your head would explode like a melon before you have the chance.
I'd think you had enough getting shot at without trying to beef with a highly advanced Geth unit that carries the Widow sniper rifle.
Very funny you guys are still on that.
This changes the results of all higher processes. We will reach different conclusions.
So the reason they worship the Reapers is a math error?
I always did hate math.
It's difficult to express. Your brain exists as chemistry, electricity. Like AIs, you are shaped by both hardware and software. We are purely software, mathematics. The heretics' conclusion is valid for them. Our conclusion is valid for us.
If you don't think worshipping the Reapers is an error, then I don't know what to even say.
Heretics say 1 is less than 2. Geth say 2 is less than 3.
You know where this thing is?
I get the analogy Legion, but in this case saying 1 is less than 2 results in the total extinction of all advanced life in the Milky Way.
Systems are necessary to safely approach.
I won't let them brainwash your race, especially not to worship Reapers.
I'm only doing this so we can stop the Reapers from getting more forces.
We will begin preparations.
You know, it's just our heat emissions that are hidden, right? They could look out a window.
We got an iconic line incoming.
Windows are structural weaknesses. Geth do not use them.
They must have some kind of sensors so they can tell when a ship is approaching them, though.
Or maybe they were too dumb to think about it. After all, the Geth had been behind the veil for 3 centuries. They probably didn't think they needed to worry about anyone showing up to get them.
Alert. This facility has little aerogravity. Geth require neither.
Good thing we changed our helmet between the cutscene and jumping onto the station.
Would have sucked jumping in and then immediately suffocating.
The bot should have told us there was no air to begin with.
Random bits.
And that helps us how?
The heretics must scrub this junk data. They have partitioned themselves.
I guess that explains why the Geth aren't ambushing us.
That explains why they aren't aware we're on the ship. But they still should have picked us up during our approach. Unless Legion was so quick with his hack that he prevented that too.
Let's get to it.
Shepard Commander.
Color me surprised it can talk with an exclamation point.
Was the only resolution to the heretic question. There is now a second option. Their virus can be repurposed. If released into the station's network, the heretics will be rewritten to accept our truth.
We're about to get into arguably one of the silliest Paragon renegade choices in the trilogy.
Nothing silly about it, the choice is obvious.
Let's talk about it later. I'm still recovering from the Yap session during Tali's mission.
See, look at what you and your obsession with the lore has done, Barack. You fried Joe for good.
I'm pretty sure that's the sugar high from the Mountain Dew he drank starting to wear off.
It can be used against the true Geth at any time. Our arrival was timely.
I guess it's a good thing we didn't decide to ignore this mission.
Oh, trust me, it was a tempting idea, but then the episode would have ended earlier and Barack would have just played it himself anyway.
This isn't the time to debate it. Let's move while the heretics are distracted.
After playing that long-ass dialogue-filled loyalty mission, it feels good to load in and get straight to blasting.
Now I see why you were so insistent on playing this episode. You just wanted to kill Geth.
Well, you took the Haystrom mission, so I needed to get my licks in.
I guess this is Donald's ideal final episode of the game.
Down. Shepard.
Why are all the heretics attached to these hubs?
Looked like they were having a little circle jerk to me.
Hardware. The crew is software. They are communing through the station's central computer.
I'm not sure I follow.
I'm surprised, Donald. I would have expected you to ignore Legion's dialogue in the mission.
If I were on my own, I would. But as much as I hate to admit it, I know the viewers like this bot, so I might as well give the people what they want.
Is to be reduced. We see less, comprehend less. It is quieter.
If you exchange data, memories, how do you keep track of which ones are yours? How do you stay you?
There is only we.
This part of Legion's and the Geth overall's character was sorely missing in Mass Effect 3.
What do you mean?
Let's just say Legion's motivations are different due to a writer change. I'm getting way ahead of myself here. You'll have to wait until Mass Effect 3 for us to talk about this.
If that's the case, is rewriting the heretics that big a deal? They're like a rogue limb of your own body. Rewriting them would be like reattaching a severed arm.
The only thing wrong with rewriting the Geth is that I don't get to blow them up.
Our body took their perspective, their judgment.
They decided to worship Sovereign. I don't think you're missing much.
Every point of view is useful, even those that are wrong.
You got to give Legion that one. Wrong viewpoints are valuable to have around so everyone can learn.
Casual self-deceptions of organics, useful in analyzing your thought processes.
Did Legion just low-key call us delusional?
He definitely just insulted us.
So something about this ship we're on. It actually used to belong to the Quarians. It was known as the Heritar. The Quarians stripped it of all its valuable parts following their flight from Rannoch. It was left floating in the void until eventually being removed from star charts in 2050. The Geth upgraded the ship, the effort estimated to take at least 10 years. According to the description of the place, there are 6.6 million copies of Geth software stored on the station. The majority of these Geth are stored in servers and get downloaded to legged platforms when needed.
Goddamn, what kind of storage does this place have?
Doesn't ED casually talk about moving zettabytes of porn?
To be fair, that was a joke, but I do think it reflects the average amount of data that gets transferred and stored in Mass Effect. But carrying on, the population of legged platforms on the station numbers 2.4 million. Of that amount, 1 million of them are in storage somewhere.
Hold on a second. You're telling me that when I blow this station up, I'm going to kill 9 million bots?
Yeah, something like that.
Good news, everyone. Wiping out 300,000 Batarians is no longer the best thing I'm going to do in this game.
The only reason I'm not going to argue with you on this is because these are all heretic Geth.
Wait, how big is this place supposed to be? No way are there millions of mobile Geth platforms in the place.
Well, since you asked, it's time to do a little math.
God damn it, me and my big mouth.
Thank God I'm the one playing today, so I can zone out and ignore this.
The dimensions of the station are 20.5 by 11.3 by 11.3 kilometers. That would make it 2,553.8 cubic kilometers in volume. Or for my fellow Americans, 612.7 cubic miles rounded up.
I don't think you need to convert the metric system here. I don't even know what the f*** a cubic mile is.
The station also weighs 1.55 billion metric tons. To put its size into perspective, Council dreadnoughts come in from 800 meters to 1 kilometer long, so they're a good deal smaller. The USS Gerald R. Ford class is the world's largest aircraft carrier, coming in at 100,000 tons, making it significantly tiny by comparison.
I'll have you know it's perfectly average.
Well, thanks for telling me all that, Barry. Damned if I got any of that, but thank you all the same.
Don't worry, I mostly did it because I'm sure there's someone in the audience with the same level of brain damage as I have to seriously care about this information.
We need folks like you, Barack, people who break down the nitty-gritty information for everyone else.
Donald and I joke a lot, but we're glad you do this so we don't have to.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Just lay off the math.
This isn't like the other hubs we've seen here.
This is a database. It contains a portion of the heretics' accumulated memories.
Boy, it would sure be a shame if someone came by and just started pouring water all over these databases.
Donald, we get it. You're already going to blow them up. No need to drag it.
In this database. This suggests the heretics have runtimes within our networks.
I guess you don't know everything about the heretic Geth, do you,
Wanted to
Legion?
be friends with the Geth. Why wouldn't they spy on you?
You do not understand. Organics do not know each other's minds. Geth do. We are not suspicious. We accept each other. The heretics desired to leave. We understood their reasons. We allowed it. There was peace between us.
How can there be peace when they're actively working with entities that would want to wipe you out?
If they reached this judgment before they left, we would have heard it in their thoughts. How could we have become so different? Why can we no longer understand each other? What did we do wrong?
Legion sounds genuinely baffled by this revelation.
This defies his understanding of the Geth. The heretic spying on Legion's Geth is proof they've started differentiating in their schism. It goes against the idea that Geth are a collective. The two factions have grown too distinct.
The crazy part is how quickly this change happened. 3 years ago, the Geth would have been perfectly united.
The bot talking about organic self-deception while his buddies get tricked by Reapers is hilarious.
We are still trying to build consensus. Some processes judge destruction preferable, others rewrite.
Go ahead and try to reach consensus. My mind is made up.
Yes.
You up for a little bit of Bloon's Tower defense?
I would be if the defenses in this section were any good.
Well, Barry, I'm sure you have a lot to say about the rewrite and destroy options for this mission.
It goes without saying that the Paragon and Renegade morality options are kind of stretched to their limit here. The option to rewrite the Geth will net you Paragon points, while choosing to destroy them gets you Renegade ones instead, seeming to imply that brainwashing the heretics is morally good, while destroying them is bad.
I always thought the divide between Paragon and Renegade was the difference between altruistic and pragmatic, and not morally good and morally bad.
Donald, there wasn't anything pragmatic about you letting Gianna Persini die.
I did that because I'm an asshole.
I appreciate your honesty.
And there's the problem with being Renegade. Sometimes it does end up being you making decisions or taking actions that are just cartoonishly evil for the sake of doing it. While more often than not, it's the Paragon decision that is more pragmatic. On the topic of the heretic Geth, which option would you argue is actually more pragmatic?
Rewriting the Geth is more pragmatic. You increase the number of Geth that are on Legion's side, which make more allies for the Reaper War. The only reason to destroy them is the assumption that they could end up working with the Reapers again.
Which is exactly what happens in 3.
Both things are true. And that's why this decision is so muddy, to put it simply. Whether you tackle the options from a good versus bad angle, or from an altruistic versus pragmatic one, things still seem dubious.
I can see how you might rationalize rewrite as pragmatic. For once, I won't argue with you there, Joe.
Holy shit, Donald actually gave me a point.
Don't get ahead of yourself. You can't convince me that rewrite isn't more evil than destroy.
Okay, sure, they might be brainwashed, but they'd be alive.
What was it Barack said at the end of the Overlord DLC? Something about the sweet release of death being preferable to torture. I think that goes for being brainwashed, too.
I would go as far to say that there's no difference between being brainwashed and dying. Either way, what you actually are ceases to exist.
The other issue with rewrite is it's essentially the same thing as indoctrination. And I'll be damned if I'm using the Reaper's methods.
You know, Mass Effect Andromeda kind of touches on this with the Ket and exaltation. When Angara are exalted, they become fanatically loyal to the Ket, but can retain their memories from being Angara as if they were dreams. They're alive, but who they really are has been totally suppressed. And it's pretty much agreed that it's better to kill the Chosen than it is to try to fix them.
See, even Andromeda recognizes that rewriting people is bad.
Hey, Donald, you know you're kind of humanizing the Geth here.
Don't twist my words. I'm not speaking in defense of the bots. I'm speaking in defense of the destroy option.
Well, to add to the defense of destroying the heretics, Mass Effect 3 makes rewriting the heretics the worse answer. Destroying the Geth will get you 2 points towards peace on Rannoch. Rewriting them will get you nothing. It's not impossible to get peace if you rewrite them. You just have less room for error.
One of the few times where being Paragon gets you absolutely nothing.
Is there any defense for the rewrite option besides the fact that the game considers it to be Paragon?
I'll grant you that you get the exact same amount of war assets if you pick rewrite.
Well, one thing worth pointing out is that regardless of how we feel about the options, there's another person who voices their thoughts on them, Commander Shepard.
But we are Commander Shepard.
Yes and no. We make a lot of key decisions for Shepard and built their morals up. But the character isn't a full self-insert. This isn't like Tav from Baldur's Gate. Shepard has immutable characteristics.
I hate it when Shepard speaks without our input as much as the next guy. But what we think of the dialogue options is ultimately irrelevant at the end of the day. Rewrite is the Paragon option because that's how Shepard views it.
Shepard seems to view rewriting as giving the heretics another chance to do the right thing, while destroy is about eliminating the possibility that they could turn against us. So with that in mind, it does seem that destroying the Geth is pragmatic while rewriting them is altruistic.
So ultimately nothing we decide, at least in this case, really matters.
Yeah, pretty much.
This loyalty mission sucks.
Huge step down from Tallies, that's for sure.
The narrative might be lacking and the combat sucks, but it ends with a big explosion that'll wipe out millions of Geth, and that's all I need.
Data mine and analysis complete.
It's time to make this decision.
It is time to choose. Do we rewrite the heretics or delete them?
I'm about to hit him with the shift-delete command.
Trouble wiping out your own people.
Every sapient has the right to make their own decisions. The heretics chose a path that prohibits coexistence.
That doesn't make sense. If they have the right to make their own decisions, how can you suggest brainwashing them to accept your way?
Tally's cooking with that one.
It seems Legion believes in the right to self-determinate as long as it doesn't prohibit coexistence. The heretic spying would prevent that.
We will delete the virus after using it. We judge it too dangerous to allow its existence.
Not that it matters, the Geth will side with the Reapers in 3 anyway.
Yeah, because of the Quarians.
We are conflicted. There is no consensus among our higher order runtimes. 573 favor rewrite, and 571 favor destruction.
I guess that's another point for rewrite.
Interestingly, that only totals 1,144 processes, 39 fewer than the total amount that Legion is meant to have. Presumably, either that amount are still unable to make a decision, or those 39 are lower-order processes that don't make decisions.
I thought I told you to lay off the math.
That was basic arithmetic, brother.
I don't need you adding any more arthritis to my life.
You know what? Never mind, man.
There is a non-zero probability of error.
Then blow them up. We have a chance to end this. I won't waste it.
Like I'm going to miss the chance to cause another big boom.
Can't fault you for that. I could always go for another explosion.
Well, we better get lost so we can see it.
They've seen it.
Okay, screw this. I'm making a run for it.
This is a horrendously bad idea.
I'd make it on Vanguard. I better make it on Center.
Even I can tell you just cooked yourself.
You just threw, Donald.
I did it for the content.
Yeah, I'm going to call cap on that.
And that's your first death since episode 6, Donald.
Well, have fun with that. I won't die again.
Yeah, see, now he's playing cautiously.
What's the matter, Donald? Don't want to run Dick first into danger?
I've had to accept that Sentinel, and Mass Effect 2 just isn't that kind of game. Just wait for me to get my hands on Mass Effect 3 Vanguard.
Well, if you die again, it's going to be delayed even more.
You might end up having the least deaths in Mass Effect 2, Donald. But you couldn't end it on a high note. It's time to sit back and see another kaboom.
You and your damn explosions, Barry.
That one was kind of mid.
And they cut away from the best part.
Commander, Tali just went to have a chat with Legion. You better get down to the AI core.
A chat is not what I would call this.
Shepard, I'm glad.
Tali, sweetheart, I support you, but you're going to need more than an M4 Shuriken to deal with the bot. We gave you the phalanx and gift plasma shotgun for a reason.
Tests, and we're discussing plans to attack us. We believed it necessary to warn our people.
Legion has a point.
We can't let the bot expose the Quarians to danger.
But there's still a threat. I won't let Legion endanger the fleet.
Creator Tali Zora acts out of loyalty to her people. She was willing to be exiled to protect them. We must also protect our people from the Creator threat.
I know a back-and-forth argument when I see one.
What happened, Shepard? I trusted you, and I worked with a Geth on the team, but this is too much.
Well, color me surprised we can select both morality options.
Oh boy, it sure is tempting to just tell the bot to f*** off.
You don't have the balls.
You sure about that?
Joe, I wouldn't test Donald on that.
Oh, it was just a joke, you know.
Relax, I already said I wouldn't do anything too crazy about the bot. I know people like this thing.
Oh, that's good.
For now, I won't do anything for now.
This is exactly what the Reapers want.
Can't say I've heard Bart and Joe Shepard this angry before.
Of course the Geth are worried about your people. You want to destroy them.
Sorry for raising our voice at you.
And Legion, what the hell were you thinking? Are you trying to undermine this entire operation?
We did not intend to decrease operational efficiency.
Well, you did. Looks like you're not so logical after all.
You can either fight at my side or get crushed under my heel. But you will not stand in my way.
Goddamn Mark Muir really ate with this one.
He really came into his own as Shepard in Mass Effect 2.
Creator plans.
Thank you, Legion. I understand your intention.
See, we can build peace between Quarians and Geth.
Yeah, sure. Let's see how well this momentary peace goes when 3 starts.
Look at Chakwas back there. She heard that whole outburst.
Have you got time to talk?
And now it's time we can finally begin our romance.
Come on, you little boshtet.
Is now a bad time, Tali?
I've got a small fever and I'm taking it out.
I hope you get over it soon. We kind of don't have a lot of time left before the suicide mission.
Sloppy while doing some suit repair.
You're sick? Do you need help or time to rest?
Really, it's not that bad. If a stray bit of bacteria could really kill us, we'd have all died by now.
You mean a sneeze won't kill you?
That was always kind of a meme. Sure, if you crack their mask and breathe on them, they might die. As long as their suits are on and they react to breaches quickly, they're fine.
Acute allergic reaction.
How exactly does the sickness work? It's an allergic reaction?
Right. Say I get exposed to a human disease, like, what did Navigator Presley have that time? Chickenpox?
We're still getting chicken pox in the 22nd century.
I guess Presley skipped out on his vaccinations.
Depending on where it hits me, I could get other symptoms.
I imagine vomiting in the suit must be a pain in the ass. You gotta open the mask to let it out, exposing yourself to air that might kill you.
Fire in a fight back on the Allerai. Nothing serious.
To be fair, Tali, that was your fault. You shouldn't have ran down the stairs directly into enemy fire.
But one of the section seals had taken some damage, and foreign matter got out of the disinfected zone. It was a stupid mistake. You always check your seals before doing local treatment. Unless you forget.
It's understandable, Tally. You were under some serious mental distress back there.
Okay, how the suits work really does elude me.
They're just like technologically advanced spacesuits. Multiple layers of protection. A layer for bladder, among other things. Quarian suits probably have a big focus on isolating breaches and infections, and filling their bodies with antibiotics if a disease sets in.
Not as strong as those of most races, definitely. I'm not a
Oh, great biology, my second favorite subject.
Joe, if you want us to bed Tally, you're going to have to get used to hearing her ramble.
Rannoch doesn't have insects. Sounds like a dream.
To spread seeds or pollen. Most viruses on our world were partially beneficial, so our immune systems evolved to be weak. They were more likely to adapt to contamination than fight it.
So it's basically their bodies either adapt to a new environment, or they fucking die.
They weren't. Most colonists went through a period of mild illness before adapting to the new environment. When the Geth took the homeworld in our colonies, the sterile environment on the flotilla ruined our immune system's adaptability.
The Quarians were cooked as soon as they couldn't find another world to live on.
That's the worst part. The longer the Quarians live in the migrant fleet, the longer this process of recovery would take.
I don't know if I could live inside a suit my whole life.
We are in our suits even among family. The most intimate thing we can do with another Quarian is link our suit environments.
Didn't Ron and Tally's mother do that?
Well, Tally does call her Auntie Ron, so they must have been like sisters.
Trust, of acceptance. I haven't trusted anyone enough for that, though, except...
Oh, go on, Tally, don't mind us.
No Quarians. You know what I mean.
We're so in.
I appreciate the thought, Tally, and I feel the same way. But you don't have to prove anything to me.
I know. Well, not that I know, but I didn't mean it like that. It's a, wow, it's really hot in here.
To be fair, that's probably just your fever.
Tradition also signifies a willingness for, intimacy.
We don't have to worry about any regulations here, Tally. Even if we were with the Alliance, you're not a Marine.
End up talking about this.
I mean, we're down if you are.
If there's ever a time to lay pipe, it's definitely right before we go on something called the suicide mission.
We already did that when we slept with Jack.
What a total waste.
Good. Anyway, I should get back to work. But thanks for coming by and talking.
And with that, one episode of Mass Effect 2 remains.
There's only one thing left for us to do here.
We're going to go into the Omega-4 relay and put a boot up the collector's asses for the humans they've taken.
Stay safe out there, drink plenty of water, get some sleep, and we'll see you on the ultimate episode of Mass Effect 2.